It started with a handshake in a midtown steakhouse that smelled of aged mahogany and unearned confidence. I had just exited my previous SaaS venture with a clean $4 million in the bank. I was 32, tired, and ready to retire to a beach in Montenegro. Then I met Marcus. Marcus was the kind of venture capitalist who wore $800 sneakers with a suit and spoke exclusively in disruptor dialect. "We don't want to build an app," Marcus said, stabbing a Wagyu ribeye. "We want to build an ecosystem, Omni-Stream. One subscription for everything, gyms, streaming services, grocery delivery, car insurance, one API to rule them all." It was a logistical nightmare. It was legally impossible. It was a total hallucination. Naturally, I took the job as CEO. They gave me a 50 mailer Series A seed, a glass office in Hudson Yards, and a mandate to break the world. By month 2, I had hired 40 people. The problem with having 50 mailers in the bank is that you start to think money solves friction. I hired a chief vision officer who spent 6 hours a day meditating in a pod. I hired developers from Google by doubling their salaries. We spent $200K on brand identity, which resulted in a logo that looked like a tangled paperclip. The culture was electric, mostly because we weren't actually doing any work. We were architecting. I remember walking into the break room and seeing our lead engineer, a brilliant guy named Dave, staring at our new 10K Italian espresso machine. "Dave," I said, "how's the integration with the Netflix API coming?" "It's not," Dave replied, not looking away from the steam wand. "They won't take our calls. Neither will Disney. We're building a bridge to a continent that doesn't want us to land." I should have listened. Instead, I told him to pivot his mindset and went to a photo shoot for Forbes. By month 4, the burn rate was $3 a month. We had no users. We had no partners. We had a very cool office with a moss wall and a slide. Marcus, the VC, was starting to text me at 3 a.m. asking about deliverables. The board meeting was a bloodbath. I realized I couldn't get the big players on board, so I proposed a pivot. We wouldn't be a consumer app. We would be a B2B employee wellness and logistics suite. It was the same product, just with a more boring name. "We're going to sell this to HR departments," I told the board. "Does it work?" Marcus asked. "The UI is incredible," I lied. The back end was actually held together by 3 exhausted interns in Bangalore in a series of Excel spreadsheets that I manually updated before every demo. We were selling a Ferrari that was actually 3 guys in a trench coat. We threw a launch party at a rooftop bar in Soho. It cost $150K. I stood on a stage sweating through my Tom Ford blazer, demonstrating the app to 500 tech influencers. I clicked the Streamline My Life button. The app crashed. Not just a little crash, it triggered a bug that sent 4,000 automated "Welcome to Omni-Stream" emails to the CEO of every Fortune 500 company in America. Within 10 minutes, our domain was blacklisted as a spam bot. I looked at Marcus in the crowd. He wasn't looking at me. He was looking at his phone, probably calling his lawyers to see how much of the 50 mailers he could claw back before the SEC got involved. The end wasn't a bang. It was a series of very quiet Zoom calls. Month 6, we had 12 million left. The board fired me on a Tuesday. By Thursday, they had shuttered the office. I had to watch a team of professional liquidators carry out the moss wall and the 10K espresso machine, while Dave, the engineer, stood on the sidewalk with his laptop in a plastic bag. "Hey Dave," I said, feeling like the smallest man on earth. "Sorry." Dave looked at me, grinned, and said, "It's fine. I got paid 6 months of Google plus double to write 0 lines of functional code. I'm going to Bali." Yesterday, I saw Marcus on LinkedIn. He posted a photo of himself at a TED Talk. The caption, "Failure is just the fertilizer for future success. Proud to have mentored the Omni-Stream team through their journey. Onward to the next disruption." I'm currently sitting in a studio apartment eating ramen and consulting for a company that makes smart toasters. TLDR, raised 50 mailer, bought a moss wall, accidentally spammed every CEO in America, and got fired. 1010 would disrupt again. Edit 1. To everyone asking, no, I can't reveal the real name of the chief vision officer, but yes, he did try to claim the meditation pod as a tax deduction. Edit 2. Thanks for the gold. Glad my misery is entertaining. Use it as a cautionary tale. If your business plan requires Disney to be nice to you, you don't have a business plan. You have a prayer. The VCs demanded I kill the app because a 50 mailer tax write-off was worth more to them than a functional business. I didn't. I moved the code to a private server, made it open source, and walked away. Now I work a boring 9 to 5, but I still see my failed logo on tablets at local coffee shops. We didn't disrupt the world. We just accidentally helped a few bakeries. In Silicon Valley, that's considered a total failure. I've never been prouder.